So you guys were I'm hearing a lot of you guys wanted a theme song shortened, so here we go. This girl reviews movies, games, and books. Sometimes she plays them. So does that, and when she does it with the cat, does that make her crazy? Does that make her crazy? Probably. So, it's shorter. There you go. Crazycatlady or Martha Butler does not own any trailers or pictures. I use them under fair use, educational, for and entertainment purpose. Hi everyone, Martha here. So, sad day today. We lost one of the other Harry Potter actors, Michael Gambon. And they got like a couple of scenes that from the movies I like to show. So, enjoy him like saying his name fully and stuff like that. So enjoy that.
Minister for Witness for the defense. Albus Percival Wulfric Brian Dumbledore. Charges?
Everything is a conspiracy theory. I protest.
Harry!
I protest.
Harry, you put your name in a goblet of fire.
No, sir.
You asked one of the oldest students to do it for you?
No, sir.
You're absolutely sure?
Yes, sir. And of course he is lying.
The hell he is! The goblet of fire.
You can't help. Harry, you wonderful boy. You brave, brave man. Let us walk.
Proof of what I've been telling you right from the beginning, Cornelius. All your fear-mongering about you-know-who never fooled us for a minute. We saw your lies for what they were, a smokescreen for your bid to seize control of the ministry.
Naturally.
No, Professor, he had nothing to do with it. It was me.
Most noble of you, Harry, to shield me. But as has been pointed out, the parchment clearly says Dumbledore's army, not Potter's. I instructed Harry to form this organization, and I alone am responsible for its activities.
Dispatch an owl to the Daily Prophet. If we hurry, we should still make the morning edition. Dawlish, Shacklebolt, you will escort Dumbledore to Azkaban to await trial for conspiracy and sedition.
I thought we might hit this little snag. You seem to be laboring under the delusion that I'm going to... What was the phrase? Come quietly. Well, I can tell you this. I have no intention of going to Azkaban.
Enough of this. Take him!
You may not like him, Minister, but you can't deny Dumbledore's got style.
Okay, so I know one of them was the meme that everybody says, "Why is this one in the movie?" Well, I have to mention it since some people hate it and some people love it because how funny it is, because it's not faithful to the book. So this one is we'll miss him. He was a great actor. Everybody thinks that Richard Harris did a better job. Everybody remembers probably Richard Harris probably not able to do everything that Michael Gambon did in these movies. That's how much older he was than him when it came time for him to do it. I think he did. Eventually did a good job playing. I think about around the time, because not like the fourth movie was not really his fault. That was the director's fault. The person. So that's why that probably director only got one movie. But I think the fifth movie was actually his best acting role. The fifth one and the sixth movie. So, yeah. And he's also was in two other movies that Sleepy Hollow movie that I really don't really care about. Rather watch the Disney version. He played Katrina's dad in that one. And also he was an Open Ranger, so yeah. That's why I would point out those two other movies we're ready to talk about Order of the Phoenix. So, yeah. So we'll miss you, Michael Gambon. You did have a good life, though. Living to 82. Not as long as many other actors, but still a long life. So, yep. He did indeed did have style. So, yeah. For Order of the Phoenix, the movie I'm gonna pick for this one, it does have a lot of good scenes in it, even though it leaves out a lot of scenes from the book. I think it's really hard for this one to adapt into a movie, because since it's like at least 800 pages. This one's the longest book. So, this is one reason why I'm happy that they're making a series. This movie alone, because how long the book was. And how many scenes that got left out because of it. Like, for example, we didn't get to see Quidditch during this whole entire movie. And it has it in the book. You can watch this Haunter movie forget that, oh yeah, there's a game that they play in the broom. You forget that, because it's not in this movie at all. Only time we get to see brooms, really, is at the beginning, and, when Fred and George escape. That's it. They don't play Quidditch at all, I guess because they couldn't fit it into the time span, which is fine. I just really like that. I just really would like them to hear them sing, Weasley King song in the cruel way, because in the next movie they do make it nice, but I think they just mostly so yeah. So in this book or movie, however you want to say it, Harry just still dealing with the fact that he lost his friend, and now everybody thinks he's crazy in the wizarding world, that he does. But right now he wants to hear Voldemort say the news, so he's listening to it on the radio. In the book, he listens to it through his Uncle Vernon's TV, so outside, so he wouldn't get caught while he's staring up at the sky. It does not happen at the playground. Whereas when he almost punches his cousin Dudley. I think they first get the part where he's waiting for listening to the sky, but then yeah. And then we got the Dementors catch them and take away some of Dudley's memories. Miss Fig tells him not to take out the wand after he does Patronus Charm. And we don't even know why we don't even learn why in the movie who sent the Dementors. See, that's one thing I don't like about these guys who direct the movies. They think that everybody in the movie who watches the movie read the books. I watched the movie with two people who have not read the books, and so neither of them really knows who sent the mentors. They do not mention in the movie at all, that it was Dolores. So yeah, it was Umbridge, and they really need to. They really need to. She really needs to admit it, that she did it, and that part, and at the part where she gets before she gets taken away ways of the centaurs, but she never does. So yeah, I don't get why they never make her say it. Every other thing is understandable, but that isn't important to the plot line. So yeah. And so she does get expelled. In the movie, there's only like one owl that gets sent there to tell him that got expelled. In the book, I think there's at least 5. That's why it's called. That's why it's called the owl chapter in the book. So yeah, and because it keeps on interrupting Verdon being mad at Harry, and then he gets mad about it eventually. So it would have been cool seeing him doing it with that actor now also passed away, the one that plays Uncle Verdon. So yeah, and then so they end up taking Dudley to the hospital, leaving Harry alone, defeated, thinking that he's now expelled, and we get Lupin, Tonks, Mad Eye, and Kingsley come to take him to Grimhole's place, take it over to Sirius' house, and waiting for his trial. And we hear a Phoenix meeting going on. He learns what the order is, and he didn't get to learn about it because Ron and Hermione were not allowed to write to him, so he was left in the dark because Dumbledore told him to. And he learns that he already knew that the world did believe him. That Fudge was basically trying to turn the world against him, but he did not know what Dumbledore was up to and stuff like that. And what was he supposed to do? But the main reason is that he's supposed to stay at the house during the summertime to make sure he stays okay. Oh, really, he stays at summertime because the plot doesn't begin until he gets to the school. Sometimes it does start beforehand, like in this movie where he has to make himself able to go back there. But that's basically it. Make himself back to Hogwarts. But yeah. And we have the trial where they don't mention in this movie that Fudge tries to expel him also for the other 2 accounts for him when he used magic out of school. One was not really his fault, it was Dobby. The second one, yes, was his fault. But last time, Fudge defended him, so he really has no to talk. He's a hypocrite. So he tries to bring those 2 points up to try to expel him. But nope, that did not work. And Susan Bones' aunt helps defend him, and then makes sure that Harry goes back to school. And also Fig is the witness who can actually see the Dementors, because you can't say that both of them lying, are they? No, you cannot. So yeah, so he doesn't get expelled after all, and he ends up going back to school. And we find out that Umbridge is now new, the Defense Dark Arts teacher. She interrupts him, and she pretty much takes over the whole entire school by making rules after rule after rule after rule after rule after rule, and putting him to detention, making him write "I will not tell a lie," leaves a scar in it, leaves another scar in his body, saying that. And so Harry decides, mostly Ron and Hermione decides, after they learn that she's not going to teach them how to defend themselves because they think, as Fudge thinks, that they're trying to build, that Dumbledore's trying to build an army. So, but instead it's the kids trying to fight back at her, and really let them actually learn spells. This is also the book where we learn my favorite characters, Luna Lovegood, and because me and her have a lot in common. And her being is Ravenclaw is another reason why I'm probably a Ravenclaw student, because she's basically me, the loner, and the one who is always mention weird things out of the blue. So yeah, I love her. I really wish she was in the books more than just the last 2 books. I really wish she was in it more often. But yeah. So we got after that, Harry sees the Thestrals for the first time. Really, he should have seen them before he left. We know it's a plot hole, but J.K. Rowling says that's because he was still in shock, I guess, and the reason why he didn't see them when he was a little kid, because he didn't really doesn't really remember the death of his parents because he was just a baby. So yeah, is this really that? Is this really her thinking of a new character, a new creature for her books, and not knowing how to, and having a hard time fitting it in there, and when fans realize, oh yeah, this thing should have been there the whole entire time, and they're wondering where was it? The real answer is that she did not think up the creature yet until now. So yeah. And she just doesn't want to admit it. So yeah. So yeah. And then we learn that you don't see the creature until you see somebody's death. So yeah. I mean, no, I could buy the entire baby thing, but the entire shock thing, I cannot really buy. Because usually, I don't know, I usually, after the funeral, I'm out of shock. Or after I realize the person is dead, I'm out of shock. But I don't know if it's different, or might be different for other people. So yeah. But, anyway, we, end up having Harry does not get to talk to Dumbledore. Trelawney gets fired, sacked, whatever, but Dumbledore makes sure she doesn't leave the school, because if she does, she can get interrogated by Voldemort, because she's the one that does the prophecy. We learn later on that it was her that does it, that let her. That you read the 6 books, you find out why it's a bad idea for her not to for her to leave the school, and she's really just there for her own protection. So yeah, and they also get a centaur for it, which is weird that she's okay with having a centaur for that brothers would be okay with having a centaur there, but not a because I know Trelawney predicted her death, or there's something bad to happen to her, which something does, but she's okay with the centaur being there since she doesn't like half-bloods, and basically that's what centaurs are, half horse, half man. So yeah. But anyway, and it would have been, that part would have been cool seeing a centaur they're teaching, but they don't have that part in the movie, but I guess since they really couldn't fit him in there. And so yeah. Then we have Hagrid come back, because Hagrid was gone for a while, trying to get with his friend Madam I forgot her name, but the other giant lady, to try to recruit the giants onto their side, which doesn't work. They actually go in more detail in the book what happens. In the movie, they just don't. They just have him saying, "There's a storm coming, hurry! We better be prepared when it comes." Basically, and then we also had like Professor McGonagall stand up to her and stuff like that, and I don't know, the whole like a lot of things get left out of the in this movie. Like, we don't get to see Hagrid fight back at them. See Professor McGonagall get hurt, and so yeah, we got to see like Dumbledore's leave, which is on her Dumbledore Scott style. We get to see the Dumbledore's army, mostly, and that premises everything's good about it, except for who actually was the one who exposed them, which was chose Chain's friend. I think her name is Minerva or something like that. She's the one that actually does it, and she actually does it willingly. And then they have the word Stitch comes on her, and zits and stuff like that. And that's what makes her and Harry break up, is what Hermione did, and him agreeing with Hermione that she did the right thing. So yeah, and also their date that she kept on. Her mind wasn't really on what's going on at the moment. So, and we have Sirius and Arthur. Well, Arthur actually does get attacked, but Sirius gets faked attacked in order to lure Harry there. And this is when they try to get the... Oh yeah, we also had the breakthrough. I know I'm not doing this in order, but this book is so long, I could totally see why the movie forgets stuff. We had also the breakout of Bellatrix and 10 other Death Eaters besides herself, or 12 or 11. I think there's 12 actually, so 11 other Death Eaters, counting her. Escape from Azkaban. The Ministry obviously blames Sirius, but it's actually the stupid Dementors doing it on orders of Voldemort. Wouldn't have his second hand back at his hand, second lieutenant back at some hand, because Bellatrix is the one that he trusts most, really. Even though I think she loves him, but he doesn't love anyone. He just trusts her. So yeah. And so yeah. So after that happens, Seamus and a lot of other people believe him, because it doesn't make sense. How would Sirius get them out? It makes more sense to for the Mentors to do it, or for Voldemort to do it, because he has more power than Sirius does. So yeah, and then this is when they get found out, and this is when Dumbledore leaves the school and leaves, unfortunately, leaves her in charge, Umbridge. And this is when Fred and George gets their brooms back after they have their broom taken away for attacking Malfoy. Because if you didn't read the book, Fred, George, and Harry get kicked off the Quidditch. All three of them gets kicked off the Quidditch team for attacking Malfoy and getting in trouble, and starting up basically a fight. And they lose their brooms and stuff like that. And so, order for Harry to ask Lupin and Sirius about his dad after he learns from looking for Sirius's looking for Snape's memory that his dad teased him really badly. That made Harry kind of disappointed that that was his dad, that he would actually tease somebody, and basically Lupin and Sirius having to defend him and explain that he was just a 15-year-old boy, really, and like Snape has room to talk how he treats Neville, because people think he's mean to Harry, but he's twice mean to Neville, because so much more where Snape is his worst fear. So yeah, and that's real. And while that's happening, they both red androids pretty much get expelled, but they leave anyway before they get expelled from after they distract Umbridge from by using fireworks and stuff like that, and the dragon thing that you see in the movie. But in the movie, it's different. It's just them wanting to do it to get revenge for what they did to a little kid. But just really, in the book, it's just a distraction. And then that's when he finds out about Sirius maybe being attacked, but it's just to get him out down there. And he tries to tell Snape, but it may look like Snape doesn't believe him, but he has to pretend that he doesn't know in front of Umbridge. So yeah, like Harry put 2 and 2 together. He can't say, "Oh, it's Sirius," right in front of her. So he has to say "no idea" in front of her, and we find out that Creature betrays them because he talks to Creature in the fireplace, but Creature just doesn't care because how Sirius treats him, and actually was recruited by Bellatrix because how Sirius has been treating him, stuff like that. So, and then Sirius gets killed after we have like a very good fight at the Ministry of Magic after they get the prophecy, and like a lot of things happen in the book that doesn't happen here. But I think it's a pretty good thing here that we get to see Ginny destroy all the second all the prophecies that would on them fall, and like and how like there's like shadows everywhere and lights everywhere. So I think and Sirius punches Lucius. So I know Bellatrix hits him with the Vile Cadabra instead of Expelliarmus or something like that, or she would find, and he falls into the veil, and the veil's what's supposed to kill him, but it's Cadabra, so it really wouldn't matter if he went inside the veil or not. He would have died anyway. So yeah, then he goes after and tries to uses Crucio on her. He can't because he doesn't know how to use it. You have to mean it. And that's when Voldemort comes, and Dumbledore and him have a fight because Dumbledore shows up too, and keeps him busy there until Fudge comes and sees him. He's back. Now the fight is really good. I like the fight. It's very good. A lot of like the fire dragon, the bubble, the glass all breaking. It's a really cool scene, and then we get to see Harry beat him by saying that he feels sorry for Voldemort. And he goes inside of Harry and like says, "I actually have friends and people who love me. Well, you basically have no one. Because you don't even love your followers. Okay, even though some of them worship you." So yeah, and then Lucius gets taken, and then we find out what happens to him later on in War Draco. So, and then Dumbledore tries to make Harry feel better after losing his godfather and stuff like that by explaining to him finally, because in the book this is finally when he actually learned about the prophecy and explained him why he didn't tell him, because he didn't really think that he was old enough to understand, and he wanted to have a good childhood as best as possible. So yeah, and because really he wanted to tell him since he was 11, but he thought he was too young. So he thought 15 was the right age to finally tell him that he has to be the one that kills Voldemort. So yeah. And so, and also then the book, he wants to see Sirius's ghost, but Nick surely nearly had the snake. The Gryffindor ghost says that in order to become a ghost, you have to not want to die. You had to not. Because in that world, it's not just the fact that you had to have unfinished business. You have to hate the fact that you're dead. And Sirius was okay with dying. So, yeah. So I like this movie, even though it leaves a lot of stuff out. Really, I think this is when they should have done 2 parts or something like that. But that's why I think it's okay for them to have a TV series like I mentioned before. But I'm probably gonna skinny this one like a an 8 out of 10, even though a lot of stuff is left out of it. But it's not really the movie's fault. There's no way they could fit everything in here. No way. So yeah. So we're gonna miss Michael Gambon. So I'll see you guys later. Like, favorite, and subscribe. And bye bye.